suspects are being. One case involves the FBI is now offering $100,000 to see if the police are releasing.
Welcome to Misty Mystery, a true crime podcast where once a week I talk about a mysterious or unsolved case. This is usually on a Wednesday, and this week it's posted on Saturday due to a cold that I wasn't expecting to have. Like many illnesses, you're not expecting to have them, so I apologize. The true crime fact for this week is certain crimes increase with the temperatures, but some crimes decrease with cool weathers. Crimes that increase when it's hot is assaults, shootings, thefts, and vandalism. Researchers believe hot weather compels people to forget about the future, which relinquishes self-control, leading to aggressive behaviors. This week, I am covering the case of Jean Elizabeth Spangler, a Hollywood actress from the 40s. Have you heard of Anchor? Anchor is the easiest way to make a podcast. When I started Misty Mysteries, I didn't know where to go, and Anchor helped me get Misty Mysteries started without charging me an arm and a leg. Anchor is really my suggestion for anyone looking to start a podcast. It has tools that allow you to record and edit in-app or on the website. Anchor distributes your podcast on all the listening places such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Good Pods, and all your favorite listening places. It's everything you need to make a podcast all in one place, and best of all, it's totally free, all on Anchor FM and on the Anchor app. Jean Elizabeth Spangler was born to father Cecil Martin Spangler and mother Florence Matilda Morris on September 2nd, 1923 in Seattle, Washington. During her childhood, her family moved a lot, settling down in Los Angeles when she was just a teenager, where she attended Franklin High School. She graduated from Franklin High School in 1941. After her graduation, she worked many small jobs till a few months later when she got hired at the Earl Carroll Theater, where she worked as a showgirl. The Earl Carroll Theater was open on December 22nd, 1938. It was a Broadway to Hollywood dine and show theater. It would feature 60 showgirls for Hollywood celebrities and many others' entertainment. Earl Carroll used the theater to show off beautiful women with a sign over the entrance saying, "Through these portals pass the most beautiful girls in the world." It would sit 1,200 diners and charge a $1,000 membership fee for those who wanted to guarantee a lifetime cover charges and a seat. One of the regular diner and members of the theater was Dexter Benner, a conservative businessman who met Jean in 1942. Dexter and Jean dated a few months, which her friends and family found weird because of their personality differences. She was a young, social, flirtatious woman who wanted to be an actress and a star, and he was a little bit older of a man who was very business-oriented, and he wanted a family. He wanted the wife at home with the kids, someone who, would just greet him at the door after work with a drink. But despite their differences and hopes, Jean and Dexter married a few months later in 1942. After marrying, Dexter wanted Jean to quit working so they could start having kids, but she didn't want to stop working. She wanted to be a showgirl. He looked down on showgirls, saying he didn't want his wife to be one of these women. Refusing to quit her job took a toll on Jean and Dexter's marriage. Jean worked late nights, and when she would come home, the two would argue till Dexter became abusive towards Jean. A year into their marriage, Jean filed for divorce due to Dexter's abuse, but later dropped the divorce and got pregnant shortly after. Dexter and Jean's marriage only got worse after their birth of their daughter, Christine Benner, on April 22nd, 1944. Dexter wanted her to stop working since she is now a mother, But again, she didn't want to stop chasing her dream of being a star, and she kept working. Dexter's abuse continued until World War II, where he was drafted into the army to fight. World War II, with all the men away, the women took over the workforce in the men's absence. Jean finally felt free with her husband away and being able to freely work. She worked very hard during this time and spent the time networking. This was until she met another man named Lieutenant Scotty. This man forced himself into her life. He moved into her home with her and her daughter. He started driving her car and spending her money, totaling her car, and emptying her bank accounts. When she would try to ask him to leave, he would beat her, leaving her with bruises and black eyes and threatening to kill her. Jean's friends and family knew he was a bad guy and didn't really like him. On top of this, she was also still married to Dexter, and when he came home from the war to find his car wrecked, his bank accounts empty, and a lot of rumors and talk about his wife being with another man, he filed for divorce and custody of their daughter, Christine, who is now a year old. After their divorce was finalized in 1946, he also got custody of their daughter, Christine, in a long and nasty custody battle. Dexter would tell Jean she would never see her daughter again, and he would even deny her her visitation rights granted by the court. Well, the judge gave her time to fix up her life, but this behavior and talk came back to bite him in the butt when Jean was granted full custody due to his behaviors of keeping her daughter away from her. Jean was able to take Christine home to her apartment at the Park La Brea apartments that she shared with her mother Florence and sister-in-law Sophie, the wife of her brother who passed away during service, and Sophie's daughter, so Jean's niece. With her daughter back at home, she could focus on working, especially since she needed to support her daughter and a father who was sick. In 1948, she got her first film jobs as an extra on The Miracle of Bells, starring Frank Sinatra, Mummy Dummies with Mo Howard, and When My Baby Smiles at Me with Dan Daly. In 1949, she got more extra jobs on movies like Chicken Every Sunday with Natalie Woods and Wabash Avenue with Betty Garble. All these roles were uncredited. This means that she was in the movie but not on the credits at the end. Despite the role being uncredited, she was able to be part of the Actors Guild. Being a part of the Actors Guild really made Jean feel like an accomplished actress and like she was successful. And with this new pride and confidence, she took to getting very serious about her acting, and she started also playing the part of socializing and networking like actresses do. During her socializing, she began to get high-profile friends, such as Ronald Reagan, who he wasn't yet president but an actor at the time. She also found herself familiar with not-so-great company, such as Mickey Cohen, an ex-boxer and then mob boss. So whether good or bad, she was making connections, filming movies, and then she even started telling her friends she was going to come into a lot of money. Her friends never got told how she was coming into the money, but assumed it was a new relationship or maybe blackmail to one of the males she kept company. Her sister-in-law Sophie had a different story from where the money was coming from. Her ex-husband Dexter was behind on child support, so she was going to get that money and ask for more child support. Jean was only coming into money. She also told her friends she had a new boyfriend and baby on the way, but no one knew who he was. But she even talked about him on set of a movie she was filming with Robert Cummings, who said she seemed very happy but wasn't serious, just having some fun dates. And then on October 1949, Jean was off to a busy day. She came down the stairs of her apartment dressed in a wool blouse, green slacks, and a short white coat, asking Sophie, who was sitting on the couch with Christine and Sophie's daughter, how she looked. Jean told Sophie, who was going to watch Christine for the day, that she was meeting Dexter for child support and had to work on a set for the night. Sophie told Jean about a bad dream she had the night before that left her uneasy. The dream was her looking down at a young woman in a coffin who opens her eyes and says, "It's not over yet." She expressed it left her feeling nervous, but Jean brushed it off and headed out the door for the day. Sophie noted that when they left the apartment, they usually left by taxi, but she wasn't sure how she left that day. She was busy with the two girls. 2 hours later, after leaving, Jean called home to check in like she usually does and told Sophie she had to work a full 8-hour shift on set that night. Sophie and the girls went to bed that night while Jean worked, but when Sophie woke up on October 8th, Jean wasn't home in bed. This is not normal. She had a daughter at home, so she didn't stay out till the next day. But when Sophie tried to file a police report, she got told that Jean was with some dude after partying and would come home when he kicked her out, basically doing nothing and telling her to do nothing. On October 9th, 1949, 2 days later, the LAPD found Jean's purse in Griffith Park. The purse had everything in it, including a lucky silver dollar she kept on her. It looked as the purse was ripped off of her based on how the straps of it had broken and how it was placed. A note written by Jean was also found in the purse, and it said, "Kirk, can't wait any longer, going to see Dr. Scott. It will work best this way," while Mother was away. With her purse found all alone in the park and a very unusual note, the police started to investigate Jean's disappearance. First things first was a search. 200 volunteers and a dog went on the search, but the only thing they found was a buried LA County jail uniform in which was determined nothing to do with her. Trying to confirm Jean's whereabouts for October 7th, they spoke to the Actors Guild, which helped them find the studio she worked for, who told the police no movie had been filmed that night. Her ex-husband Dexter and his new wife Lynn confirmed he had not seen Jean and wasn't meeting her for child support. So what was she doing the night of October 7th? The last confirmed sighting of her was that night by a cashier at the local farmer's market, who said she was browsing the market around 6 p.m., looking as though she was waiting for someone. The only other lead the police had was a note from Jean's purse. They searched every doctor named Scott for a patient with her name and her old last name from marriage, Benner, with no results. Police looked into Lieutenant Scotty, the man who crashed her car and drained her bank accounts, but the lawyers had confirmed she had no contact with him. The name Scott in the note ran cold. Next was the name Kirk she was writing to. Jean's mother, Florence, told police that Kirk had picked up Jean from home twice, but no one saw him. He stayed in the car. Kirk Douglas was the only Kirk it seemed Jean knew. She had just completed filming on his movie, The Young Man with a Horn. Kirk himself called the police and told them he didn't know her, that during the time she went missing, he was in Palm Springs. Police cleared him of any involvement in her disappearance, leading to Jean still missing and her case cold. Let's talk more about some theories around Jean's case. First to look into was her ex-husband. This is because Jean went missing and Dexter and Lynn won full custody over Kristen. Florence had been granted visits by the court to her granddaughter and had said she gave her granddaughter a doll, which she named Jean, and that she talked about her daughter a lot to her granddaughter, and this made Dexter mad. He took Florence back to court because he felt her visits were more harmful. He argued that Lynn was her mother, she didn't need to remember Jean, he didn't want Jean talked about to his daughter, and he wanted Lynn to adopt, which the adoption was denied because Jean was only marked missing and she wasn't dead. So his wife Lynn couldn't adopt their daughter. Dexter left to Florida with Lynn and Kristen and never came back. Now, so Jean was supposed to meet Dexter that night. She went missing, but he said they didn't meet, and his wife Lynn was his alibi. But Lynn's family was mob connected, and it's theorized they made Jean disappear so Dexter can finally have the wife and kids at home. Going back to Kirk Douglas, now that you kind of have an idea of why Dexter is looked back into, because first his alibi is Lynn, his wife, who easily could be involved considering she wanted to adopt Kristen, and then that he hated having Jean as his, like, the mother to his daughter, and I think he would have paid to have her disappeared. This is just theory, so not facts. So going back to Kirk Douglas, many find it weird that before he was even mentioned to the police, he called to clear himself of her disappearance, saying, "Oh, I'm in Palm Springs." I mean, he found that weird because the police hadn't even looked at him yet. He has also been in stories and accused of sexual assault to actresses like Natalie Wood. So it's argued, could Jean have been an accident that he covered up? But also related to Kirk and the note, could she have been a victim of a botched abortion? So her friends had said she was pregnant and that the father was unknown. Abortion was illegal at the United States in this time. Many women had to go to med students or random doctors performing the procedure in their homes that wasn't sanitary or safe, which led to accidental deaths of women. A private investigator named Steve Hodel said, "I believe that Kirk is not a first name, as LAPD Chief of Detectives Tad Brown tries to suggest when he personally interviews actor Kirk Douglas, but a surname. Kirk was a Dr. Eric Kirk. Shortly after Jean's disappearance, Eric Kirk was arrested, but Ed Josky dismissed Steve Hodel's writing, saying, "Your book is so filled with baseless innuendos, misinformation, and faulty logic." In the botched abortion theory, police favored an ex-med student known as Doc, who performed illegal abortions for the fees. Was Jean one of his many women who lost their lives to a bad, unclean medical procedure, or, like mentioned earlier, when she was socializing, did she step into the wrong crowd? Jean was seen during her socializing and networking at the Dunes, the Dollhouse, and the Sadie's and Surland in Palm Springs. Here, she made friends with Davey Ogle and Frank Nicolao, employees of a mob boss, Mickey Cohen, who I mentioned before. Both of these men went missing days after Jean, and they were under indictment. Did hanging out with the wrong people lead to Jean's disappearance? Jean Elizabeth Spangler has been missing for over 70 years. To this day, she is still talked about, written about, and can be seen in old films. But we may never know what happened to Jean. Jean would be 97 years old if she was alive today. I'd like to thank you for listening. If you would like, you can follow the podcast on social media. You can find the podcast on Instagram at Misty, MISTY _mysteries, MYSTERIES, Twitter at Mysterious, MYSTERIES, Misty, MISTY. I thank you for listening again. I'm sorry for the late episode. Again, I had a cold, and you may be able to hear it in my voice during this episode. Thank you to all my sources, who you, again, can always find in the description of this episode. And I will see you guys next week.